Hey guys, if you are new here, my name is Alyssa and I am the owner of a self-defense company called Fabulous Boutique. So I have had this company for almost 4 years now. This July will make 4 years on the dot. And because of my experience, I feel like I am qualified enough to give you my opinion on whether or not Etsy is worth it. So to begin, if you have no idea what Etsy is, it is essentially a selling platform. You could sell basically whatever you want, not whatever you want, but you know what I mean. Like if you sell clothes, pens, bags, shoes, whatever it may be, you can make your own little account and start selling on there. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because when I first started my business, I actually started off with Etsy and there was no real information, like more in-depth information on what is it like? Is it worth it? And plus, I had no entrepreneurship. Is entrepreneurial a word? Did I just make that up? Entrepreneur background. Nobody in my family owns any businesses. I don't know any people personally who own businesses. So it was just something that I wanted to do and I had to teach myself, okay? The most information I had was YouTube because at the time TikTok just started, but it was more like people were dancing on there. It was not informational whatsoever. So the reason I went with Etsy is because that's just what I knew of. I was like, oh, I know people sell on there. I'm just gonna go on there. It was the easiest thing to set up. I have no regrets at all of using Etsy at first. So from July 2020 up until November 2020, I used Etsy and I wanna say, I'll be really authentic with you guys with the numbers. I wanna say, this is just on top of my head, I wanna say that I made around $50,000 within those months, which is amazing for starting your business. I did not know that time. I had nobody to ask. I obviously wasn't gonna put my numbers out there on the internet. So I didn't know, is this good? Is this bad? I mean, I knew it was good. I was getting orders every single day, which I knew was very rare because I would follow other small business owners. They would say, hey, I'm struggling to get orders. I barely get one a week, let alone one a day. So I was like, okay, I'm doing something right, but I wasn't sure, am I going on the right path? Is this normal now that I'm like this amount of months in? What am I supposed to be at? So it was very rough learning by myself, but here I am to help you guys. So let's just get right into this. I am going to be going over essentially the pros and the cons. I have a whole list right here that I made, and I'm gonna go right off the bat by telling you the cons did outweigh the pros. I have 4 pros, 6 cons, and 1, it could be a pro or a con, depending on what you sell, okay? So let's just get right into the pros. The pros is, it is extremely, extremely easy to set up. I knew nothing about business and I could still figure out how to set it up. They give you step-by-step instruction. What do you want to name your shop? Put a picture of what you're selling. Put the name, put the description, and it literally gives in-depth. It'll say, hey, put this description, maybe how tall it is, how much it weighs, what does it look like? Like they give you in-depth. And it took me only a couple of minutes because when I first started, I was only selling one thing. Well, I lied. I was selling like 3 things: safety keychains, chapsticks, and chapstick holders. It took me literally less than an hour to set up my shop, and I was like, okay, give it a couple of minutes, you're now live. I was like, oh, okay. Did not think it was gonna be that simple, but it is much, 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 much easier than setting up your own website. I am using Shopify. That's what I started using back in November of 2020 when I transitioned from Etsy to my own website. It is very difficult because the coding and the background, I still don't even understand my own website to this day. I actually hired somebody to do it. That was just not worth me learning. I was like, no, I will pay money. So somebody did all that for me. So I will say Etsy is so much easier to set up. Even if you are a beginner and you know absolutely nothing about business, I will say Etsy is for you in that aspect. Okay. Pro number 2 about Etsy is that the ad setup is also extremely easy. So when I first started, I didn't use ads because I didn't know anything. Obviously, I knew what an ad was. Oh, they're gonna push your brand out to the public. I knew that, okay? You don't have to be a business owner to know that. But I was like, I don't like, how much do you spend? How does it work? Is it guaranteed? But it is actually very, very easy. All you do is, I think you could set like a daily limit. It's been 4 years since I used Etsy, so hopefully it still runs the same, but you set a daily limit, like, oh yeah, I'll budget in $1 a day, $10 a day. And they essentially, they push you out on Google. So let's say somebody was looking up self-defense keychains, because that's what I was selling at the time. If Etsy is first to pop up, they will be more like, the more money you put in, you're gonna be boosted right there on top. But it'll be like Etsy, Fabulous Boutique, safety keychains, which was happening to me. At one point, I wish I had the screenshots. If I could find the screenshots, I will insert them. But I was a top seller. I was the top dog selling safety keychains, okay, here on Etsy. And I was even the first person to pop up. If you looked up self-defense keychains on Google, I was the very first person who popped up on Etsy. Like, them ads were putting in the work. It also helped that at the time, when I looked it up, when I first started, I looked up self-defense keychains on Etsy. There was only 3 other people selling them back in 2023. So it was between me and 3 other people, the competition. So I was number 1, okay? I was like, yes, like, period. And that was amazing considering I was only on there, how many months? I was literally on there for only 5 months and I was number 1. Like, okay, yes, period. So it's really easy to set up. It's easy to stop as well. You just press stop. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, if you put money in advertising with Etsy, not only is it Google, but like when people go on Etsy, you put pens. I want sparkly pens. You will be one of the first people who pops up, which is really, really good, because some people, they don't want to scroll on and on and on and on to find these pens. They just want to see the first page. Wasn't the first page, I'm gonna go buy it. You're on that first page, okay? So that is a pro. I personally do not even do my own advertisements for my business now. I was doing Facebook ads, which are relatively easy, but like Google ads and all billboards, all this other stuff, I have no idea about. So I hired somebody and she is still hired to this day. So that says a lot. I did my own Etsy ads versus me hiring somebody to do my ads now, okay? Let's move on to pro number 3. It is an extremely easy way for people to find you. Think about it. If I just started off on a website, Fabulous Boutique, who in their right mind is randomly going on Google and searching Fabulous Boutique? Especially with the way I spell it. If you don't know, it's F-A-B-U-L-Y-S-S, because my name's Alyssa, my name is Liz, Fabulous. You get it? Okay, Fabulous Boutique, period. Nobody in their right mind is searching that up. Of course, I was posting on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, but I was so small, okay? Etsy, it's free. Even if you don't put money in ads, it's just free advertisements. Literally, somebody could look up phone cases and you could pop up and they could have no clue who you were, but they know, hey, I found this cute phone case. So it's extremely, extremely easy. They don't even have to know your social media. They could just be searching for something, you pop up, boom. Easiest way, in my opinion, to get customers. So I honestly, in my opinion, if you are very, very first starting out, I would recommend Etsy. Depending on what you sell. If you're selling what I sell, I would not recommend it, and I'll go more into depth of why. But if you're selling like custom tote bags, okay, because I see a lot of those, I think it is an amazing, amazing way. And in my opinion too, especially if you're selling something that's custom, when I think, oh, I need something custom, I go to Etsy. That's my first thought. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comment section. Is that what you think as well? But I would recommend it, okay? Let's go into the one pro con. It's not really a pro, but it's not really a con. It's just a fact, okay? So the one point that I had is that the policy section is slightly customizable. So for my website, I can make whatever policy section I want. If I put, you got to do a chicken dance before you purchase from me, I could write that in there if I wanted to. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But with Etsy, it's slightly customizable in the sense you can put your processing time, but they only give you like 3 or 4 options, okay? You have to pick one of those options. So let's say you can't fit any of those processing times, it's not gonna work, okay? Same thing with other little aspects. You put your shop on vacation, things like that. So, you know, I don't know, would you guys consider that a pro or a con? Because it is customizable, but not completely. Like, you can't write your own things. You have to pick from certain options. Do you get what I'm saying? So to me, that didn't really matter because my keychains are all pre-made before I sell them. I personally do not offer custom keychains. That is I offered customized resin letters. If anybody has ever worked with resin, I used to sell this when I was on Etsy. Oh my Lord, it is like so difficult. You could do everything right and it could still turn out wrong. And I could say, hey, I get it out in 3 days, but then if it met, because I didn't sell anything custom, the processing time didn't matter to me. But if you sell something custom, that might matter to you. So it could be a pro or a con, or might not matter to you, okay? Let's now, oh wait, you guys, I missed a pro. I'm very, very sorry. Hold on, I missed the pro. I'm yapping too much. Okay, another pro is that the payments are extremely, extremely easy. It's very straightforward. You put in your bank account. I don't remember the exact days that it takes. Let me fact check that really quick. Okay, so according to Google, it could take 3 to 5 business days to appear in your account, which is honestly not horrible. Think about it. If you're working a regular job, you have to wait 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get paid. If you use TikTok Shop, I know back when I started, TikTok Shop didn't even exist, okay? But if you start TikTok Shop today, I believe it's 1 month. I think it's 30 days after the person receives the order, you get paid. That is horrible. I have a whole YouTube video explaining why I would not be using TikTok Shop any longer. I tried it out, didn't like it. I'll link it in the description. I'm very passionate about TikTok Shop, okay? Why I dislike it, so. But yeah, but with Etsy, it's straightforward. And what I especially liked about Etsy is that, let's say I charged $50 for a keychain. I did not charge $50 for keychains at a time. Now I charge $45 with spray, $35 without. Back then, y'all, I was charging $18 because I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know about profit margins, and I also wasn't selling pepper sprays. I didn't have it glitz and glam like I do now. It was very simple and basic, but $18. I cannot believe I started that. Anyways, I get so sidetracked because I'm just so passionate about my business. Anyways, payments are super easy, 3 to 5 business days. Love it. Oh, that's what I was saying. Okay, let's say I was charging $50 for a keychain. And then the shipping was $5. And then Etsy does take fees, okay? They take their little fees out. Instead of giving you your $50 up front and then saying, hey, actually, you owe us for shipping and the fees, that's what Shopify does. And I hate, that's like honestly the only thing I hate about Shopify. They give you all your money, they're like, hey, here's your money, but we want some of our money back. Why not just take the cost that you need and just pay me the rest? That is what Etsy does. So I loved that, because when I got my money, I didn't have to worry about, oh, but I have to give them this. No. The money they gave me, it's my money. Obviously taxes, but just from the fees from Etsy alone was already taken out. So I loved that. Now, moving on to the cons, which there are 6 of them. There are 6, okay? You may not agree with the cons, but this is my opinion, okay? Whatever. First con is that it is too easy for people to see your competitors. So I know that one of the pros was like, hey, nobody could know you and they could shop from you. But at the, what is it? It's a double-edged sword. Is that the saying? Double-edged sword. People can see you, but they also see your competitors. So they could say, hey, Fabulous Boutique is selling this pen for $10, but Lisa's boutique over there, she's selling it for $8. I'm gonna get the $8 one because they're right next to each other. So it's kind of a pro and a con, especially when you go on Google, you can search it up and then they see other people, as where if they go directly onto your website, there's no competition on your website. They might be torn like, hey, I see Fabulous Boutique has this pink marble keychain, but she also has this pink butterfly keychain. I'm torn between the two. They're torn between 2 of your products. So you're still gonna get the money, not torn between your boutique and another boutique. Do you get what I'm saying? So obviously there's competition everywhere, so that this might not be an issue for somebody, but if you are in a market that is very competitive and has, what's the word, oversaturated. If you're in a market that's oversaturated, that might be a problem for you. Like I know that the candle market is very, very oversaturated. Body butters, things like that. There's so many people, as where my niche in specific, especially at the time, there was only 3 other people. Nowadays, there are a lot of safety companies, but of course I managed to keep mine afloat. Thank you, Jesus. So yeah, I think it just depends on what you're selling if you really care about the competition. Let's get into con number 2. Con number 2 is that you cannot make your own customized site. So obviously, again, double-edged sword. I said that in the pros, super easy to set up. But you know, you can't really make it your own. The thing is, my issue when I first started out is that I would promote a lot on TikTok. That was like my main promotion, okay? And they would know me as, oh, that girl on Etsy, the keychain girl on Etsy, which I hated because I'm like, guys, I'm Fabulous Boutique. I'm not the keychain girl on Etsy. You know, they're knowing Etsy's name. They're not knowing my name. I couldn't customize it. The most I could customize was my shop banner, my shop name, you know what I mean? As where a website, you can customize it whatever color scheme you want, freaking snowflakes falling from the thing, you could do that. I've seen that before. You know, it's completely customizable to whatever you want. Like I said earlier, if I put in the policy section, I want you to dance like a chicken before you buy, I can write that. So, you know, it's up to you. Do the pros overweigh the cons for you? Is it more important for you to have a custom site versus an easy, just quick little setup, you know? I think there's nothing wrong with a quick little easy setup when you're first starting out. Keyword, first starting out, okay? Let's move on to con number 3, okay? Well, I actually just touched on con number 3, not creating your own customers. They'll know you as someone on Etsy. And I feel like with that, not only will they not know your name, I don't know if they'll come back to you because maybe it was a one-time thing. They're looking for a pen. They don't even remember your name. They just, oh, I found it on Etsy. Maybe next time they want to come find a pen, they don't find your shop again. They find somebody who's paying extra money for those ads and they buy from that person. So as where, if it's your website, they go, oh, I bought that pink marble keychain from Fabulous Boutique. I really want a different one. Let me go back to Fabulous Boutique and get a cherry one instead. Do you get what I'm saying? Again, that's up to certain people whether that's important to them or not. It was very important to me that people knew my name and not me as a person from Etsy. Because when I first started my business, it was just something for fun. But once I saw like the serious money I was making and the serious impact I was making and how I could be my own boss, that's when I was like, okay, I really need to take this serious. And if I want to be serious, people need to know my name. They need to know my name, okay? So let's move on to the next con. There are limits on what you can sell. You can sell a lot on Etsy, but as for me, because my niche was so specific, I say safety products now, but even just a year ago, I was saying self-defense, and that waved huge red flags all over Etsy. I couldn't sell pepper spray. That's why I first started selling my safety keychains without spray. I have hidden knives. If you don't know, I have comb knives, lipstick knives, key knives. Couldn't sell knives. But the thing is, I saw other people selling them, but they would say, it's a letter opener. And I'm like, are you for real? A comb versus a letter opener? So I had to like change different wordings. I couldn't sell my stun guns. Nope. Couldn't sell those. And it was really holding me back because I knew once I saw the safety keychains were popping off, I was like, okay, I want to expand more safety, but they wouldn't let me. You know, so it depends on what you sell. If you sell soap, you could sell whatever type of soap you want on there, but for my niche specifically, it was just a no-go for Etsy. Moving on to the next con, when you put your shop on vacation mode, it hurts your business. If you do not know, Etsy has a thing where, let's say you're going on vacation. You're gonna be gone, you're going on a month-long vacation. I don't know who's going on a month-long vacation. If you are one of those people, I'm jealous, okay? And you know you can't fulfill those orders, you want to put your shop on a break. You want to stop accepting orders for that month. You come back, you can just press, okay, I'm open again. And what I've heard, I've never actually put my shop on vacation mode, but what I've heard from people all over social media is that they will punish you. They'll stop putting you on the top. They'll stop pushing you out to people because they're like, oh, you want to go on vacation mode? We're going to pick people who actually are shipping out products, you know what I mean? As where if I do that on Shopify, I do that all the time, especially if I'm about to have a big launch. I'll put it on just like, it's not vacation mode. Let's call it vacation mode for the video. I put my Shopify on vacation mode for one day because I want to prepare my website for the big launch. It doesn't hurt me at all. It doesn't hurt me at all. Shopify won't punish me. It is what it is. Would I recommend putting your shop on vacation mode? No, I would not recommend it. You're missing out on customers, but if you need to, it's gonna hurt you, okay? I saved, in my opinion, the worst con for last, which are the fees. I did my research, and these are the percentages in which, if you went on Etsy right now, they were way less back when I was on Etsy. There is a 6.5% per sale plus listing fees. Okay, so listing fee, in order to even put a product on your shop, they charge like 10 cents. Well, it was 10 cents back when I was on Etsy. I don't know what it is now, but just to post it, which, you know, isn't a big deal when you're first starting out. You know, you can find a little dime on the floor. Okay, 1 dime. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe every time you repost your product, you have to pay that 10 cents. As where if you have your own website, you could put a million products, it charges you $0. $0. So I didn't like that. At first it didn't really bother me, but towards the end of my Etsy journey, I was like, yeah, we need to skedaddle on out of here. And as for the 6.5%, that is absolutely absurd. So that essentially means for every dollar you make, they're taking 6 cents, which obviously isn't a big amount, but the big amount, like the little things start to add up, especially when you're first starting out as a business owner. You want to save every penny that you can. You're going to cut costs where you can, not on the actual quality of the product, but you're like, hey, you know what, I can't afford advertising, I'm gonna just post for free on TikTok. Hey, I can't afford crinkle paper and packing peanuts, you know, I'm gonna recycle things I get from Amazon and things like that. I actually still do that to this day. You know, you're gonna cut costs where you can, so those pennies do matter. And 6.5% is crazy. I will say, when you have your own website, they charge fees. So again, I keep using Shopify because I've never used any other platform. I heard Wix, and that's the only one I've ever really heard of. But with Shopify, I don't know the exact fee on the top of my head, but what they do, they charge you per month. They'll say the cheapest one you can get is $30. They say, hey, you want to use my Shopify platform? Pay me $30 a month. What they do is your credit card system charges per transaction, but it is an extremely small amount. It is not 6.5%. okay, and then Shopify also takes a little percentage. My credit card payments and my Shopify payments combined are less than the 6.5%. so that is very expensive, okay? But it's just up to you. Are all the pros worth paying that 6.5%? You know, all of this is just a matter of opinion. Some people don't view these things as cons. Some people don't view the other things as pros. This is all, again, just based on my experience as someone who has used both Etsy and a regular website platform. And again, I did use Etsy 4 years ago. It may be different now, maybe worse now, maybe better now. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope that this video was very helpful. If you guys want any more business tips, please just let me know any specific videos you would love to see in the comment section. And y'all better go shop my website. It'll be linked in my description. And yeah, bye.